Hello, friends. Rosie here. Uh, After yesterday's examination of the Demogorgon, I've realized I had a lot of fun with it, and so I'm gonna go through the whole roster and do everybody now, starting with our boy, the Trapper, Title Man himself. That picture did not come out the way I thought it was gonna. All right, so the Trapper. The Trapper is a character that is also in need of a few changes and a few quality of life buffs. Uh, However, not all of his add-ons are completely useless. So as we go into this rework, note that while there's gonna be a few more leave as is because we do have some good stuff here, but a majority of it does need some tweaking. Okay, so let's begin. How do we buff the Trapper in Dead by Daylight? Okay, base kit changes. The first thing that the Trapper needs in his change in his base kit: traps will catch a survivor using Dead Hard over them. And it will take a survivor at least 6 seconds to escape a bear trap by default. Escaping from a trap inflicts the deep wound status effect on a survivor, and then they'll suffer the mangled status effect until they are healed. Okay? Reason for these changes: one, dead harding over a trap is bullshit. It should not be in the game, and so we're just getting rid of that. Next, making the survivor take at least 6 seconds, so you will have some level of consistency in your traps before the RNG takes over. So you have 6 seconds, so you'll know where you are on the map. You can use that 6 seconds to make a judgment of whether you should go pick them up or not. A saving from the trap, inflicting the deep wound status effect on the survivor, and they'll suffer from mangled until they're healed, is so we can rework some of those add-ons that give you stuff when you step in traps. Okay, we'll just make it a flat mangled across the board and deep wound when you get out, so you have to mend yourself when you get out. Just do an actual punishment for stepping onto a trap. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. Next, the add-on Trapper Sack is now base on the Trapper. I think this is a change everyone is expecting to come in the game any patch now. We're just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting, but till it gets in, it's not in yet, so Trapper Bag, Trapper Sack, now base. One extra bear trap increases carrying capacity by one. It is obviously the one that they should make base, just to get them started a little faster. Okay, kind of similar to the Demogorgon here about how this character is a slow early game. It is an area control character. Okay, so let's see what we got here. First add-on, Trapper Sack. Okay, so what did we decide to do with this one? Behaviors version, again, start with extra trap, carrying capacity by one. We made this base, so we have to rework it. Okay, mine is replacing with an add-on called Setting Plans. You'll start the match with an active trap at the basement. So no matter where the basement is, there's going to be a trap near that basement. And this is not, I feel like I must stress that these traps are not RNG. Every map would get its own unique trap depending on what spawn. There's a lot of crap that goes into shit like this, but basically, at any map with a shack, there'd be a trap at one of the doors. Gideon Meat Plant, it would be at one of the pallets, and then like these would not be RNG. There'd be set traps to spawn that would spawn in per variable and setup, or you could just get rid of map RNG like we all want, and you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, setting plans, start the match with an active trap at the basement. Okay, next. That's what this family is there to do. This is gonna be a family. These do not stack, so you can't just start the match with like 5 traps. It's kind of like Demogorgon's portals. This is a alternative to the bags, to where like you need to get set up in the early game. So this family of add-ons, the setting tools, the trap setters. Behavior moderately increases bear trap setting speed. What this family of add-ons is there to do is help the early game as well, and they have a bit of utility in chase, but not enough to justify their existence. So my version, again, start the match with an active trap at the basement and another active trap at a pallet near the basement. So Gideon Meat Plant, there'd be those 2 pallets would have traps by them. It's just an alternative to the bags where you have traps on the board already. You have kind of a place to start expanding off of, and basically it has some of that work done for you already, so you're not lugging, you're not trying to do this huge burden of setting up the map. It's kind of helping you get started doing that. And again, some trappers may not even like this family because they want to set up their own boards, which is fine. But this is just to help people get started. Okay, next family, setting tools. Considerably increases the setting speed, decreases the rescue and escape speed. Again, just got rid of it. Start the match with an active trap at the basement and 2 other active traps at pallets near the basement. Leads us to the final one, fastening tools. Tremendously increases the setting speed. Oh, it's just there to help you with the early game. Oh, mine is start the match with active trap at the basement and 3 other traps. So, just kind of giving, of course, if you spawn near it too, like you're kind of spawning near your location. So, kind of very decent setup here. It kind of helps you pick a place to go ahead and get started at, and it starts you at the place where you can get the most theoretical advantage. So, a decent family of add-ons that can help you get going and help you potentially snowball if the location there starts going off. Okay, next set. The coil family. Now the coil family I had to kind of split up because there's like a lot of them, and I started having 2 unique sets of effects for the coil family. So this particular version, this common add-on, slightly decreases bear trap disarm speed. The disarm shit is just not the greatest. It's not that good. So I went ahead and gave it a buff. Any injured survivor that disarms a trap will become mangled and suffer from hemorrhage until fully healed. So, if an injured survivor disarms a bear trap, they will suffer the mangled and hemorrhage status effects. What we're doing here is, since you can't really realistically run tar bottles and stuff every single game to keep your traps hidden, they're going to start getting disarmed. And since they're going to start getting disarmed, we might as well use the disarm part of your character to apply some penalties and status effects to the survivors, since those traps are gonna get hit, especially if they're at like the basement or something. You could kinds of things can actually add to your snowball. So they're just putting an emphasis on the disarming and having that kind of become a positive for you can kind of transform the character. The traps can be used as obstacles in a way that they're not being used right now. So the next family, serrated jaws. Behaviors. Survivors injured by a bear trap suffer from hemorrhage until fully healed. That's fucking trash. Mine. Upon disarming a bear trap, a survivor suffers the exhaustion status effect for 20 seconds. Basically, this turns disarming into opportunity for you. If they disarm the trap, they don't have their exhaustion perks. So it's kind of a trade-off for them. They may have opened up the location for them to run, but you just lost your exhaustion perk, and it can be very quick to go reset the trap and get it right back up. So do you want to disarm it, or do you just want to take the trapper somewhere else? Evolving on that, we have the rusted jaws. Behaviors, survivors injured by a bear trap suffer from the mangled status effect for 120 seconds. Obviously, we went ahead and made that base. So our version is, upon a survivor successfully disarming a bear trap, they will become exhausted for 40 seconds. Additionally, an injured survivor that disarms a bear trap will become mangled and suffer from the hemorrhage status effect. So it's basically smashing these 2 add-ons together to create one. And again, it's just there to create opportunities for you if somebody disarms a trap. So yes, they may have disarmed it, but they don't have their exhaustion perk. So if you disarm it near your face like an asshole, like they sometimes do, well, buddy, you don't have your exhaustion perk for this chase. Hopefully, it's very, very good way to kind of keep survivors, give them some kind of penalty for disarming your stuff. Kind of adds a new dynamic to the character. Next, oily coil. Behavior tremendously decreases the bear trap disarm speed. Okay, mine. When a trap is disarmed by a healthy survivor, the bloody coils exact their price and the survivor becomes injured. You will recognize that as Trapper's current iridescent. We moved it down because I gave him a new iridescent that combos with the other one. So, by moving this effect down here, it makes this add-on more useful, and it goes with the other ones. it kind of goes, it kind of, it get, well, since they're healthy upon disarming, I guess they wouldn't actually get it based on my text here, but that's still okay. If they disarm a trap, if they're heavy on disarming, they become injured, which can then feed into some of these other effects from Rusted Jaws and the Serrated, from the Rusted Jaws and even the Common if you would like to run that. But the big one is, we made an Iridescent and a purple, so you can go ahead and, so we can make it the new Iridescent. Okay, next, what do we do with the bags? I left the bags the same. These two add-ons are seeing a lot of play on Trapper right now. There's no reason that they can't just stay. Just stay. They're doing fine. They're doing their job. And there's no reason they can't stay the way they are. Exactly the way they are. So they actually kind of got a buff because the brown bag's now base, and now these two are buffed. Because this would mean that the Stitch bag lets you start with 4 instead of 3. And then Trapper bag lets you start with 3 instead of 2. So they kind of got a slight buff because we made the brown one base, which is fine. I think Trapper's in a position where he could use it, so I think that's fine. Those are good add-ons. They'll still see a lot of play. Next, the Die family of add-ons. Logwood Die. Behaviors is moderately darkens all bear traps. Mine considerably darkens all bear traps. Okay, you will notice that is the previous version of the tar bottle. Behavior considerably darkens all bear traps. So we moved the tar bottle down to Logwood Die. So Logwood Die would be doing exactly what tar bottle is doing. My basic reason for that is that Logwood Die right now is kind of useless. So by moving tar bottle down to Logwood Die and then reworking tar bottle, we now have 2 good add-ons instead of just 1. So what did I do with tar bottle? Mine. The trap's color matches the environment on which they are set. Upon moving to a new environment, the change will occur over 30 seconds. So basically, this will help you on Larry's and all the indoor mats where Trapper struggles. Over 30 seconds, the trap that you place will gradually blend into the environment, so it'll be harder to see. It'll be good for the Trapper because this can help. This is an add-on that directly answers the issue of his bad maps, like Larry's, Hawkins, and Gideon Meat Plant. The character has no answer for those maps right now, just because of how much they shrek his power. Especially if you run the previous version of the tar bottle, it can make you worse at those maps. So by doing this, it'll help his traps blend in, and then help him actually have plays at those maps. You can get some cute little plays there. And that's another thing that this reworked kit will do. It'll help him be better at those bad mats, because the traps are more visible at some of those mats, disarming being more harmful can sometimes encourage survivors not to disarm, just to run around the traps, which can net you some free hits sometimes. So basically what we're doing here is we're kind of really evening this character out. We're giving him, he's not going to be as shit at those maps he's not very good at now, because we gave him some new stuff to work with. Okay, moving on from tar bottle. Returning to the coils. This is the next section of coils. 4 coil spring kit. Behavior. Moderately decreases the disarm speed. Mine. A bear trap must be disarmed twice for it to be fully disarmed. The second disarm is done 2 times faster than the first. So basically, when the trap gets disarmed, the Trapper gets a noise notification so he knows you're doing it. He can then go over and save him. This kind of add-on will be good for defending the hex totems that you so desperately need to defend, as well as annoying people trying to disarm your shack traps and your jungle gym traps that may be slightly obvious, but it'll be good because you'll get a notification that they're doing so, and then they'll get a second one once they disarm it. And then the second one, the secondary coil. Behavior considerably decreases the disarm speed. Trap must be disarmed twice in order for it to be fully disarmed, with no second disarm 2 times faster than the first clause. So these 2 add-ons will just be, you'll get kind of a notification, and basically what these do, secondary coil, must be disarmed twice to be fully disarmed. That combos with some of these add-ons over here. It'll let you get over there to, it'll let you get over there to punish their exhaustion that they have from the Serrated Jaws or the Rusted Jaws. So it'll combo well with those to punish some of those people disarming your traps. It'll just give you more of an awareness so you can be at where you need to be to make the correct plays and make the correct decisions. I think it's a neat little family. Next, Wax Brick. Behavior. Moderately lowers bear trap escape chance. This is shit. Oatsvara has said how bad this is multiple times. It's useless and doesn't do anything. What's our version? Inflicts the dying spate upon the survivor if they free themselves. Oh, that's Honing Stone, isn't it? We moved Honing Stone now. So we're doing some rearranging here. Buffing the character doesn't necessarily mean, like, getting rid of all their stuff. Kind of rearranging it to give them a more balanced kit. Honing Stone's power level is a green. It can be good, but against SWF it's not very good. So we can improve it a little bit. But the whole Honing Stone idea is at a power level where it can stay. We just make it a green instead of a purple. So, what I decided to do with Honing Stone. Honing Stone behavior inflicts the dying state upon the trapped survivor if they free themselves. My version. A survivor cannot escape or be freed from a bear trap for 30 seconds. So basically, if somebody hits that trap, they're stuck there for 30 seconds. They're basically slugged. This can be good for you because it will guarantee that you can get to the fuck over there on them. And you have time. You can kind of go, okay, this guy just got trapped. He's kind of out of the game. I don't have to go pick him up right away. I can keep chasing this guy and potentially down him. And if I do down him, the other guy can get out of the trap. They can get out of the trap, but if I don't down him, I have an insurance policy that I can go over there and get the other guy that just stepped in the trap. Again, these two add-ons you might not get any use out of them, just depending on what traps people step in. But those games where they come in clutch, they'll come in really, really clutch. So I think they are worth being here. Next, some of the more miscellaneous stuff. This is kind of a controversial one that I created. Trapper Gloves. Behavior. Slightly increases bear trap setting speed. Oh, you can't make that controversial. That's a shitty little comment. Yeah, sure I can. Check this out. Upon picking up a survivor from a trap, the trapper cannot be stunned. Flashlights, Palace, or Decisive Strike. So, if you're running Trapper Gloves and somebody that just got hook steps in a trap, they don't get to use their Decisive Strike. They go right back on the hook. Don't step in traps, bro. So I think it's not that bad. And it also answers the question of, like, if you grab somebody on a trap that you placed in a pallet, you can't be stunned by the pallet if somebody is there to save their friend. So it'll be good. It'll guarantee some hooks. Gimmicky common add-on. Next gimmicky common add-on. Padded Jaws. Notoriously bad. One of the worst add-ons in the game. What does it do? Bear traps don't inflict damage to trapped survivors. Horrible. Just fucking putrid. So what's my version? Trapper cannot step in his own bear traps. There might be some cute ways you can fool people. You can fool people to thinking their traps are not there with things like the dye and the tar bottle. If you couldn't step in your traps, you could... what else could you do with that? It would be really good in basement. If you're doing the basement trapper thing, you would be able to walk through while you're carrying somebody to make sure you could actually get your hooks. Padded Jaws doing this makes it actually have utility in Trapper's kit, which it's a niche effect, granted, but when that niche effect comes in clutch, it's going to be super clutch. Okay, so that's all of the basic family of add-ons. So now we get to the Iridescence, which again, like I said in the Demogorgon video, we're going to have these Iridescence combo. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. Iridescent Stone. Behavior, every 30 seconds, one closed bear trap chosen at random becomes set. That's fine. We can keep that one. That's the one that I think has more combo potential, so that's what we're doing. So that one is fine as is. The next one. Bloody Coil. Behaviors, this is when someone if a healthy survivor disarmed the trap, they would become injured. So what's my version? This is a very, very, it's another more controversial one of my choices. Mine. All bear traps give off an aura reveal when the survivors are within 8 meters of them. Upon a bear trap catching a survivor, bear traps cannot be manually reset or picked up for 30 seconds. Okay? So obviously we know why this Iridescent is good, but basically, when you have a set trap, basically, when all the traps are being set, and you can't reset them after you catch somebody, the other Iridescent will set them for you. So you basically don't ever have to pick a trap up the rest of the game. So you won't actually lose your board presence because of the Iridescence downside, by making up for it with the other Iridescent. Now, of course, this is still a decent add-on without it because of the aura reveal that you'll get from the traps. It can help you do mind games at other tiles. Help you mind game some tiles even if they know the trap is there and they don't step in it. You can see that they're not stepping in. I'm trying to think of a tile this would be good for. Some of those Haddonfield tiles, maybe. Maybe if they miss. Sometimes if they vault the Killer Shack window, you can miss. Stupid traps can miss sometimes, so you will get to see which way they're going to have an easier time mind gaming the shack if they miss it. There's potential here. There's potential here. Now, obviously, Trappers add-ons were not in a horrendous spot like the Demogorgons were, because we did some rearranging instead of some deleting here, whereas Demogorgon, we had to just completely fucking rework everything, because it was all so bad. But the idea behind our new Trapper is that the disarming is kind of a double-edged sword. You can do it to negate the Trapper's board and open up the loops, but you face potential downsides from doing so. And then the other add-ons have gone to... that's one version, and then the other version has gone to tremendously speed up the current version of the character to have a really very fast early game by giving him a bag base and the tools to getting traps on the board, having them on the board already, speeding him up, making him more lethal, and then, of course, the double Iridescent combo. And then we gave him some niche stuff too. But this is a decent little buff, I think. And if this got in, I think the Trapper would probably be a high tier. If this got in, he'd be very nice. We got him some nice base kit quality of life updates, and then expanded on them with the add-ons. I think this is a very decent selection of add-ons. Behavior, steal my stuff, please.